You're Mr. Franklin, aren't you?
Yes.
Are you enjoying your trip?
Oh.
How many times have you crossed?
This is my,
Don't you feel alone out on a big ocean?
Well,
I just adore conversation, don't you?
Oh, certainly. Yes.
Pardon, monsieur.
Marilyn Monroe's voice is one of the most iconic and recognizable voices of old Hollywood. Her breathy, sultry, and soft voice has captivated audiences for decades. If you ever dreamed of having a voice like Marilyn Monroe, you are in the right place, because in this video we are going to analyze the main characteristics of her voice, and also I have researched corresponding exercises for each characteristic so that you can practice yourself and achieve that your own voice becomes more soft, more feminine, more sensual, and more just like Marilyn. In the end, I'm also going to practice with you because I have prepared some sentences so that you can practice together. So stay until the end and let's start with the analysis part. Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this exciting topic. Let's take a look at what actually makes Marilyn Monroe's voice so attractive. We start with the characteristic number one, the breathiness. This is actually the most obvious characteristic because this is what we notice in her movies, and it is also quite known and quite famous.
It's not the icebergs, but there are certain men who would try to take advantage of a situation like this.
You're flattering me.
Of course, I'm sure you're a gentleman.
Oh, it's not that. It's just that I'm harmless.
Harmless? How?
Marilyn's voice is characterized by a distinct breathiness, and this breathiness gives her voice a very soft and intimate quality, and it also contributes to this soft and seductive and vulnerable charm that she exudes when speaking. It is almost as if she was sighing when she speaks, and we will also come to that a little bit later because this is one of the techniques in order to achieve this effect. Characteristic number two, pitch and intonation. While Marilyn's voice is actually not particularly high-pitched, you notice that it often fluctuates in a kind of melodic sing-song manner. And she uses a wide range of pitches actually when speaking, often ending sentences with a slight upward inflection.
Are you sure you want to waste your champagne now that you know that I'm married?
I think it's wonderful that you're married. I think it's just delicate.
You do?
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't be lying on the floor in the middle of the night in some man's apartment drinking champagne if he wasn't married.
We also notice that she keeps her speech rather high, so rather more like here in the throat area. The higher you go, the higher the voice actually comes out. And of course, this adds to the femininity in her whole expression. Now, the next characteristics is the vocal quality. Marilyn's voice and the vocal quality of her voice is very smooth. It is velvety, without any hard edges. It is often described as buttery, and I think this is because of its rich and warm tones.
I quite agree. Tell me, who runs up that flag? Your wife?
No, my flags do it.
Who mixes the cocktails? Your wife?
No, my cocktails do it. Look, if you're interested in whether I am married or not...
Oh, I'm not interested at all.
Well, I'm not.
That's very interesting.
The next characteristic in Marilyn's voice and speech is pauses. So pausing and pacing. And what is also visible, especially in interviews, is that when she speaks very unhurried and deliberate. She makes pauses.
Well, now, your picture has been on the cover of almost all popular magazines, hasn't it?
No, not the Ladies' Home Journal.
That you would like, would you?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I used to long for it. I used to appear on, when I was modeling, on men's magazine covers, such as, I don't know, Squint, Peep, Take a Peep, all those things.
Characteristic number 5, articulation. So the way how you pronounce and enunciate words. Marilyn enunciates her words very deliberately, very clearly, but at the same time with a very relaxed articulation. She speaks very lightly without pushing the words, but you notice that she does it with purpose.
Don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You might not marry a girl just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help? And if you had a daughter, wouldn't you rather she didn't marry a poor man?
But I was...
You'd want her to have the most wonderful things in the world and to be very happy. Oh, why is it wrong for me to want those things?
Her consonants are very soft and her vocals are elongated. And this, of course, adds to the sensual allure of her voice. What I also noticed, and maybe you've also noticed it, let me know down below, is that she kind of tries to not move her mouth a lot. And I have once read that she practiced to put her upper lip above her teeth so that it doesn't go up a lot when she speaks. And maybe that is why it often looks a little bit as if she was trying to kind of do something with her mouth and not open it too much, or, you know, achieve a certain look.
This is your first appearance in television, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Jack.
Well, I'm quite flattered that you made your first appearance on my show. I really am. Just wonderful to have you. Have you a picture that's coming out pretty soon, a new picture? I mean, we've seen Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Another one, new one?
Yes, it's called How to Marry a Millionaire. It's also in CinemaScope.
Oh, it is? In CinemaScope, too?
Yes.
You know,
Now, let's proceed to the exercises to achieve a Marilyn Monroe-like voice. For each characteristic, I have 2 easy and easy applicable exercises that will also help you to develop this kind of characteristic. The first one was the breathiness, and we start with the breathy H sounds. So for this particular exercise, you take a word that starts with an H. For example, hello or happy, and you try to speak this word in a breathy voice, so in an especially breathy voice. Focus on exhaling softly as you speak the word and introduce a gentle breathiness in your speech. So instead of just saying hello, you'd say hello. Or instead of happy, you can say happy. The other exercise for that would be the signing exercise. And now we come to the signing. With signing, I just mean something like, you know, what we sometimes do, just signing. It is also very relaxing. But the thing is to try to transfer this feeling of signing into what you are saying. Start with taking a deep breath and release slowly with a gentle sign. And then the next thing that you say, you try to maintain this signing breathiness. You can repeat with different phrases, and we are going to do that in the end. Now, let's continue with the exercises for pitch and intonation. Pitch and intonation drills would be the melodic reading. This is an easy exercise. You simply take a text and instead of just reading it out loud, you will exaggerate the melodic contours of your speech. You focus on varying your pitch and incorporating upward inflections in the end of the sentences. We can try that. I got my book, my biography about Madame de Pompadour. By the way, if you're interested in women like Madame de Pompadour, I have included her in a video about famous women over 40 who really were very seductive and stayed very attractive also in older age. And I will link that video down below so that you can watch it. But I personally haven't read this book yet, so it will be a new text for me, maybe good. I will just pick some passage and read from it. Did she give a thought to her past, to her husband, her 1-year-old child, she was completely focused on the present, the unimaginable, exciting and glamorous present. One senses that she felt herself equal to whatever lay ahead, fortified by the king's passion. So this was super hard for me because I have not read this biography yet, and as you noticed, there have been a lot of quite elevated language. But maybe you noticed that I tried this melody, and I tried the inflection, and I tried the higher pitch, and I also tried the breathiness. So this is what it is about. You can simply play around with that and just develop and educate your voice a little bit. The next exercise would be the pitch glides, and it also has to do with the practice gliding up and down, but it is a little bit easier. Maybe you can do it before the reading exercise. So we just take a vocal such as O or A and vary the pitch and go like up and down with the pitch. Maybe this can help you also to get comfortable with that. The next topic or exercises are suitable for the topic of vocal quality enhancement, and this is a very important part. The first one is a so-called humming exercise. So what we will do is we are going to hum gently and feel the resonance in our throat and in our chest. This will help you to develop a very rich and velvety tone. And now the interesting part is after the transition. So you hum and then you try to the transition into speaking from humming while maintaining the same resonance. So what I mean by humming is just a humming sound such as hum, and I really feel it here in my chest. It's like a soft vibration. And then after humming, try to transition into speaking. Of course, one has to repeat that many times until it works, but it is a practice. And the fourth exercise is the pausing, pacing exercise. The first practice would be the controlled speech practice, and is about recording yourself. Then you really focus on making pauses in between. So really pay attention to the pacing and make conscious efforts to slow down if you usually speak very fast. The other exercise would be the paced reading. So for that you again read from a book, and then you put your finger next to the page and tap it like in a rhythmical slow pace in order to take time for emphasis. I will now try that with a very short passage from the Madame de Pompadour biography, just to demonstrate you what I mean. The king remained in love, but the marquise knew that Louis was restless, easily bored, and needed distraction. If she did not provide it, he would find it elsewhere. At the beginning of 1747, in the dark days of winter, when the hunt was often impossible and time slowed, she had an idea for amusing this difficult man. So here I tried to not focus on melody or on breathiness, but I spoke with my normal voice and I focused on pacing and pauses. I'm sure that, at least for me, it was much easier to follow this passage than if I would read it very fast. And now the next exercise, the articulation drills. So now it's about articulation and enunciation. So for that I would recommend you to do 2 exercises. The first one for the consonants and the second one for the vocals. For the consonant exercise, try to enunciate consonants in a very soft way. And for that, of course, you need words. And you can simply use words such as feather, whisper, or lovely, with a lot of consonants, focusing on articulating them in a gentle way. For the vocal exercise, try to use words with vocals and elongate the vocals. So stretch them out and add like a sultry quality to the speech. One example would be the word love. So you can simply say love, but you can also say love. So This is what I meant. The word immediately sounds much more sensual, sultry, and here you can even apply both. Stretch out the vocal, and you can like make the V, so the consonant, more soft.
He was kind of scary looking, but he wasn't really all bad. I think he just craved a little affection, you know, a sense of being loved and needed and wanted.
Now I will practice with you. I will give you 4 sentences and we are going to apply all the things that we have just learned, the ones that apply best for the particular sentence. And they are all from Marilyn Monroe movies or things that Marilyn said at one point. The first one would be a short one. Hello there, darling. So here I immediately see the hello, and of course I can practice a breathiness with the H sound. And then the darling is a very soft word that ends in this humming sound. So here I could use a little bit of a melody and also a higher inflection in the end. Hello there, darling. Just practice doing it in your own way. Because of course I will never sound like Marilyn. I have my own voice, but I can incorporate some of those characteristics and they will make my voice, my individual voice, sound a bit more like Marilyn's, but in my own way. And this is what we want to achieve. It's about inspiration and not about imitation. The second example would be a long sentence. Would you like to come up and see me sometime? Here I clearly see, of course, the inflection in the end and the softness, and I could also add some melody here and some breathiness. Let's try it. Would you like to come up and see me sometime? The third sentence, I just want to be wonderful. Here I would also apply the breathiness in the beginning and do a higher pitch of the word wonderful in order to make it sound more Marilyn, more playful and more feminine. I just want to be wonderful. And the fourth sentence, a very known one, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Let's try to make it more melodic. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Achieving a voice like Marilyn's really involves those 5 characteristics that we will now resume. Remember them. Breathiness, melodic pitch variations, smooth vocal quality, deliberate pacing, and relaxed articulation. By incorporating the exercises that we have just tried, you can really develop a more soft and sultry feminine voice, just like Marilyn's. Practice and consistency is key. I did this for the first time now. I don't know how much of Marilyn I sounded, but you really have to practice many, many times, and you can incorporate those exercises just in your daily life or sometimes when you're bored. And then your voice will develop and it will become much more like Marilyn's. So if you liked that video and if it was helpful for you, give me a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share, and of course, see you in my next one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.